Ask again. Here, this will be our last chance before the test. If you guys have questions on things from chapters 7 and 9. Lucia.
I have one.
Perfect.
From the 9.41 through 11.5.
9.4, okay.
Number 3.
Number 3, sure. What happened here? All right. So this question reads, the Pacific halibut fishery has been modeled by the differential equation dy dt equals ky times 1 minus y over m, where y of t is the biomass of the total, of the biomass in kilograms at time t measured in years. The carrying capacity is estimated to be yada, 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 and k to be da, da, da. So then it asks, it says if y naught is yada, 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 find the biomass 1 year later. So what we're going to be doing here, hopefully when you look at this, you recognize that this is the logistic, or the form for a logistic differential equation. So I know then that my equation will be of the form P of t equals m over 1 plus a e to the negative kt. So, and we know that a is equal to m minus p naught over p naught. So that should be everything I need. I just have to make sure that my units are all going to match up appropriately, but I think they were nice and gave everything in kilograms. So my m is given. My a, well, this is p naught, right? So 8 times 10 to the 7th minus 2 times 10 to the 7th is just 6 times 10 to the 7th over 2 times 10 to the 7th. So a is just going to be 3. And we're told k is 0.71. So far, so good, Lucia? So on part A, if I want to find the biomass 1 year later, I'm just going to do P of 1. So I'm just going to plug the 1 in for T and then should spit right out of my calculator. Is that okay?
Yeah.
And then part B says, how long will it take the biomass to reach 4 times 10 to the 7th? So that's just going to equal P of T, and I'll just probably solve that by graphing or something.
Okay.
Find the intersection.
Yeah.
Does that feel okay?
Yeah.
Do you need me to go through more detail than that, or is like the setup probably enough?
I think it's enough.
Okay. Yeah, it's one of those, like, once you got the equation, it's usually, it's kind of like algebra at that point. It's like there's not that much to do. And again, really, I used no calculus. I mean, the calculus we used to show that if you have a differential equation in this form, I get a logistic in that form. And here's the translation between the two. But I'm going to treat that like a formula and just, I'm not going to solve the differential equation every time. That's a big hassle. In fact, we didn't even do it when we talked about this section. I just kind of hand waved my way through it because it's pretty yucky. The exponential one, not bad. The differential equation, or the logistic one, is pretty yucky. Does that feel good though? Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Others that want to have homework that we want to talk about. Okay. Fair enough. No big deal. Does anybody have, remember for the test, which is next class, right? It's in groups. Everybody remember who's in their group?
Yes.
Okay. The test format is open book. If you look at the bookshelf over there, I got out 20 textbooks. That should cover one textbook per every person in class. If you want to have your own, you don't need to take one. If you're, like you can have one for the group or whatever you guys want to do is fine. Everybody's good there? Open calculator throughout. Should have your charged up calculator ready to go. And I said each person in your group can have a sheet of notes front and back, but you have to turn those in advance. I'll put them with your test packet, give them back to you. Ideally, I would love to have those today if you have them. If you have them, let's make sure your name is on there. Yes?
Will you be here on Monday?
I will be here on Monday.
Can I hand it to you in CT on Monday? Or is today?
CT, yeah, I suppose CT on Monday would be okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So this might sound like a stupid question, but
No.
or like what units are like on? Is it like all the stuff we've done since we started the chapter 9 stuff, or?
So what we've covered for this test would be 9, 1, 3, 4, 5, and 7, 1, 3, 8.
Got it.
So there's the 3 pieces in chapter 7, integration by parts, trigonometric substitution, and improper integrals.
Got it.
And then in chapter 9, we've talked about differential equations, solving separable differential equations, solving linear differential equations, which are non-separable. They're the one that need the integrating factor. And then population modeling with differential equations. That was 9-4.
Got it.
Is that?
Yeah, I just wanted to know.
Yeah, no problem. If you have your sheet of notes, just let's put them in the folder. Again, double check to make sure your name is on there so I can get it with the group. If you're gonna give your notes to me later, that's fine, but don't forget, because if you don't get them to me on Monday, like, game over on that. Here's what I would do, Alice. Why don't you turn in what you have, and on Monday during CT, come back in, and if there's sometime on Monday, if there's something you want to add later, you can come back and add. Does that sound? That way you can't forget to come back, right? All right. So again, if you didn't have notes today, you can bring them to me later. It has to be before the end of the day on Monday, but this is the last opportunity that I'll see you to remind you. So if that's your plan, make sure that you remember and you have some backup of somebody to remind you to make sure you come and find me on Monday and get those turned in. I don't think we have CT on Monday now that I think about it, Lucia, because we go to the lower school. So just find me sometime. But I'll be here. Okay. Any questions about test format or what's on it or anything like that? Everybody feel reasonably comfortable that they'll get this one we can do well on?
Yeah, I hope so. It's a group one.
It's about as much support as I could possibly give you for the last test here, right?
I trust the people.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is,
Open book help, because you can just go look up the equation.
yes.
So.
Really, dude.
What I want to do today then, with the remaining, I don't know, 80 minutes or 60 minutes or so, whatever we have left, let's take back out those FRQ packets that I gave you guys last time. If you're still kind of working your way through 1 and 2, or you're like, I think I finished, I want to check, you're welcome to come talk to me. Again, my plan is not to like go through these nitty gritty right now. I want to give you guys time to like look at them and kind of struggle bust your way through things and talk about it. I'm happy to have conversations with you now individually about like, hey, feel like I'm kind of stuck here. Like I've done this, but this doesn't seem like it's right. Is this right? Happy to do any of that kind of stuff with you now. And eventually we will kind of go through, particularly the calculator ones, to show you like what you can do with your calculator and remind you the easiest way to do things on these calculator active problems. Just from like a test strategy standpoint, not even a content standpoint, but like what's the best way to make sure we get this stuff done. If you finished problems 1 and 2, the calculator active problems, you can start on today the non-calculator active problems. Make sure that you're not using your calculator on 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the second block of free response questions there's 4 of them. You get an hour to do them. It's still 15 minutes per question, but this time they've taken away the calculator, which is, to be honest with you, like the stuff that you would do on your calculator for those types of problems is usually very, very easy. Like the integration is usually really straightforward. The differentiation is really straightforward. The solving would be really straightforward. Like you should expect to get, like convenient answers on things. You shouldn't have to grind through a bunch of terrible arithmetic. They usually do a pretty good job of giving you stuff that's not like obnoxious to deal with. But that's being said, you can always like take something that shouldn't be obnoxious and make it obnoxious by doing things kind of like a silly way, right? Which is fine, like that happens. You guys are kind of practicing right now and kind of figuring things out. But that's what I'd like to do for the remainder of our class today. Is everybody cool with that plan? Okay, so what's up? I would like you to actually be working on these review problems, not studying for your English test or like finishing biology work or whatever else you might have also going on today. I'd like us to take this time and like settle in and try to make some progress in figuring out like practicing reading these questions and thinking about what they mean and like going back and reviewing what you know and how you do things. And like, again, if you find stuff that you have to look up or ask about, like have that separate topics to study sheet and like add, oh, I didn't know this definition, or I didn't know this formula, or I forgot that this means this, and like, or forgot the procedure on how to do this type of question, so that you can start getting your preparations in order as you're going and building a list of things that like you're a little soft on that you want to review. But that's the plan for today. Cool? Okie doke. I'll be sitting out here. I'm going to be grading some accounting stuff, but I'm happy to like be interrupted and let you guys ask questions and stuff.